back to my channel. I have some really exciting news. Ruby and Fiona both had their babies 2 weeks ago. Ruby had hers on the 14th and Fiona had hers on the 15th. They both ended up having twins, one boy and one girl. It took me forever to figure out names just because I'm so picky with names. They need to match their personality. Fiona's ended up having the little La Mancha ears, and Ruby's ended up having Nubian ears. It was kind of sad to see they didn't have like their mom did, where Fiona came out looking like a La Mancha and Ruby came out looking like a Nubian, but I just think they're so snuggly and look so cute that I don't care. They're just too adorable. So Ruby's babies are named Liam and Lila. I kept debating about Lila's name just because I love that name so much, but I didn't know if that was really her. And we came up with another name, but I kept forgetting it, so Lila is her name, and it really suits her. Also, if you just look at Liam, he is a Liam. Like, he looks like a Liam, you know? And then we have Milo and Mila. First, it was kind of hard to tell the difference between Fiona's babies because they look so identical. At least Ruby's, one's black and it has different shape of a face from his father, and the other one's brown and has Ruby's face. So those two are really easy to tell apart, but Fiona's are a little bit harder. Their personalities, they're very much like their mama. Their mama's skittish. She does love snuggles and all that, but she's very cautious. Of course, Susie Q's getting jealous because, you know, she's used to being the baby, getting all the snuggles and wrestling all the time. And she's not getting that quite as much. I'm still loving on her, I'm still wrestling with her, but a little bit more attention's going towards the babies and the mamas. But she gets a little jealous, and when she shows that she is jealous, I have to spend a little extra time with her. And of course, Phineas is just being Phineas. He's discovered if we're looking at them like over the stall that he can sneak up on us and bite our butts, which is not fun for us. Apparently it's fun for him, but not us, you know.
Well, I figured.
It was also raining one day, so I wore a hoodie. While I was looking at the baby goats and just saying hi before I got their food, he decided to put his head up my hoodie and pull backwards and try to take me with him. Which wasn't fun. And of course, Donkey don't care. He's just like, feed me and I'm happy, you know. He don't give a shit. I do kind of hate the time that I have to feed them every so often. I work night shift, but I only work 3 days a week. So those 3 days, they have to be fed at 5:30. And I hate doing that to them, so I feed them and then my dad comes out and actually like puts them in the barn, because that's still about an hour and a half that they can be outside eating and grazing with daylight. So we're doing that. But I do love when I'm at work and my dad goes out to put them in for the night. He sends me pictures of the babies and everyone else. It honestly makes my day. I was kind of concerned at first with Ruby's babies because I noticed they were only nursing out of one teat and the other one was getting pretty big. So I ended up getting supplies for bottle babies. I had some for just one baby from when I had Susie because she was still drinking a little bit of milk. When I got her, she was completely weaned off of mama, but she was still kind of latching on to the bottle, so I had to wean her off of that. So I got extra for 2 just in case, since they weren't drinking out of that second teat, and Lila kind of looked like she might have been a little undernourished. But we just milked her a little bit to help get all that out, and we took the babies up to that teat, and the problem was it was so big they couldn't get to it, and they couldn't like get their mouths on it to drink. Once we kind of emptied it out a little bit, they were able to, and now we don't have a problem. They keep going to it and knowing that it's okay to go to that one. So I'm glad we didn't have bottle babies because that would have been so much work. I would have done it, but I'm just glad I didn't have to because I would rather them be on their mom than have to be a bottle baby. And of course, Fiona's babies didn't have any problems with nursing whatsoever. As soon as I got in there, they were both already latched onto a teat. So they're good in that department. I believe when I found Ruby's babies, they were still kind of wet, so we don't think they were maybe an hour or so old. They were not very old whatsoever. But when I found Fiona's, they were completely dry, they were standing, they weren't wobbly anymore. I think they were born sometime the night before, and I just happened to find them when I fed them in the morning. The biggest sign I noticed with them, which every goat is different with this, they both pant a ton. The breeder I got them from told me that her herd, normally their teats will all of a sudden fill up and they're about ready to give birth. And mine, that didn't really happen. Their teats were filling up for a couple months now, I noticed. Not like to the point where it's like, oh my goodness, I need to milk them or something. It was just enough to where you can see a difference. The biggest tell for me was all of a sudden their hips sunk in. A big thing that I saw that another YouTuber actually mentioned was you can wrap your hand around their tail, their muscles, I believe, or their tendons will loosen up so they can give birth, and we were able to do that. And a big thing with us was they were panting like crazy, and all of a sudden they're wanting tons of electrolyte water, which if they want it, I'm gonna make it for them. They were drinking a whole bucket like super fast. They really needed it. And when my dad put Fiona in for me that night, he told me that it looked like she was nesting, and that's a really big sign that they're going to be giving birth soon. And she ended up giving birth that morning or that night in between the feeds. With Ruby, she was panting a lot, her hips went in, you could do the tail trick with her. We never saw her nesting, but she gave birth early that morning when I got home from work. When we noticed both of them were starting to pant, Ruby started to pant before Fiona, we decided to put them into their stalls because we felt like they might be giving birth soon, and I noticed their teats were starting to look a little bit bigger. It wasn't a huge difference, but it looked like they were filling up more. And I'm glad we did, because I walked in that morning and I was so shocked to see 2 babies, and it's like, oh my goodness, of course while I'm gone you had to give birth.